you wanted to talk about I
So
don't want to say historic low, but in recent memory, it is a
in recent
historic
memory,
low
no, right,
of
correct,
viewership in the National Basketball Association. So I
correct.
pulled a little statistic for you, if you don't mind me sharing it before you go
Yeah,
on
please.
and give me
No,
your
no,
thoughts
no.
or
I love
whatever.
it. I love it. I
Um,
appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Hopefully, I got the quote you wanted me to pull as well, but I
If
got a
not,
couple numbers
if
that
not,
I think you'll appreciate.
I have a rough memory of what it was.
But I do want to say that since 2012, the NBA has lost 45% of its viewership. That is
That's
crazy. That
that's
is
insane.
insane. And honestly, we can talk about what the issue for it is. And you can say, look, this has been an issue since 2012. We just said since 2012. Well, the commissioner, Adam Silver, seems to think it's
There.
only this year that's an issue because he
Thank you.
said, and I quote, the issue is the election and the World Series.
Yep.
That's the only reason viewership is down, because of the election and World Series. That has nothing to do with anything else. I mean, I think politics are involved, but I don't think it's the election that's the viewership is declining. But if you go back to this past year's NBA Finals, it's the worst game in terms of numbers since 2021, but it has the lowest viewership at 11 million, and that's the worst since the Spurs swept the Cavs in 2007. So we haven't seen that low of viewership since 2007 in an NBA Finals for a game one. What's the issue?
Lack of Steph Curry and LeBron.
MJ, if you want to run with this first, you can. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you got way more on it, so I'll go first and then let you do what you got to do. The biggest thing, and I think this is part of your, so I don't want to steal your thunder, is just the lack of abilities to watch the NBA. As an NBA fan myself, unless it's on ESPN or TNT, it's really hard to watch. And even then, like if you don't have cable, it's hard to get access. It's a mess. Bruce is way more into the cable world than I am, so I'll let him go on that. But it's just like, unless it's the stars, the parity in the NBA is not good. The average NBA game is not as entertaining as, say, the average NFL game. There are more games. It's in the middle of football and baseball. But baseball fans who watch every game do it because they're diehard baseball fans. A lot of basketball fans are more fans of a player, or a lot. And not to say that there aren't diehard basketball fans. There absolutely are. Arenas are packed every night. So I don't think it's a basketball love issue, because we're not having attendance issues at NBA games unless the team is just horrific, like maybe the Wizards or someone like that. But so I don't think it's a lack of desire to watch or consume NBA content. Like NBA social media accounts are at all-time highs, but actual viewership of the full games, I think a lot of that also comes down to the analysts that are involved. The majority of NBA analysts right now are former players. So the content is so story-based, and there's a lot of lack of actual breakdown and like good entertainment. The lack of just good analysts when it comes to the NBA right now are just not as good. And one of the best is now coaching the Lakers. So it's just hard. The product put out when you do have the chance to watch TV right now also just isn't as good objectively as it used to be.
Agree. No, I agree. I think you actually articulated that very well. One of the other things that I want to add on to that is what do people love all the time when they're watching a show, when they're watching even sports or whatever? They love a great storyline.
Yep. I was going to say drama, but yeah.
You're right, that too. There is zero drama. There is zero storyline in the NBA right now. The only storyline that you can even kind of manufacture, because yes, I'm sorry, it was manufactured, was having LeBron James' son be on the same court as him. That was the only thing that you could really like conceivably have out there that, and like it intrigued me. I tuned in. I wanted to watch that because honestly, that's pretty cool to have have your son being on the same basketball court as you. I think that's phenomenal. Like, and this is I'm not even throwing shade at LeBron at this point at all. I actually think I commend him for the longevity of having even an opportunity to give his son to be on the Lakers. Like, I think that's awesome. Saying that, one of the cool things that, and I'm gonna pull old man yelling at the clouds on you guys right now, so I apologize. But one of the coolest things about the NBA back in the even in the 2000s was you would see just like animosity, anger, and whatever towards each other. You know, oh, buddy, I played on your same AAU team, or oh, I played against you in AAU. Oh, it was so much fun. It's really cool, man. What up, dog? Yeah. Like, you actually saw guys going at each other because they wanted to say, I'm better than you, and I'm going to prove it to you tonight, right now.
Now Draymond Green does that, and he gets kicked out of the game every time.
True. Okay, fair. And like, but you know what though? Like, he's a dying breed because you don't see like the only guy. Okay, so right now, currently, like, I don't even think like you'll even guess this, but I want to give you guys all the opportunity. Who is my favorite player in the NBA? Actually, okay, there's a 1A and 1B, but like my number one guy. Who is my favorite player in the NBA currently?
Anthony Edwards.
Correct. Why?
Because he talks a lot of
talker.
crap.
Trash talker, wants to beat people.
He's an alpha.
He's an alpha. He's a competitor. Like, I love that. Like, in my 1B, guess who my 1B is? Jimmy Butler.
Well, yeah.
Like, I love guys that are like that. And it's not taking anything away from like those guys. Like, I like Steph Curry. I like his shooting. I do, you know what I'm saying? I like there's a multitude of other players in the NBA that I like, but like I want that like not anger, but like there's that meatball part of me that wants that like that same energy that like I'm gonna lock you down on this end of the floor right now, and then I'm gonna score on your ass on the other end right now. And that's just gone. You don't see that as often in the NBA anymore. Everyone's like friends, everyone's buddy. Nobody plays defense. And the other from a X's and O's standpoint, I think what started killing the game of basketball a little bit was the Mike D'Antoni part of basketball, shooting in the first 7 seconds of the shot clock. So a lot of people, and MJ, you could probably attest to this, a lot of people are going to blame it on Steph Curry because Steph Curry likes to shoot threes. It wasn't on Steph Curry. I think it was on a coach. It was on a coach that wanted to emphasize like getting up as many shots as possible. Now you're seeing a combined potentially 73 points, 3-pointers shot in a game combined by both teams, potentially a night. You never saw that before. And while, yeah, that's cool, but you don't see the same like old school Blake Griffin dunks on people. You're not seeing the same like that same competitive edge. And like it's like everyone is like a blueprint copy of someone of players that have been in the NBA. Okay, I need to shoot the three. Okay, I need to shoot the three. Okay, I need to shoot the three. And while positionless basketball in theory is fun, I just think it loses a little bit of its like, I guess, romanticism as the best way I can put it. And I can't put it into like an actual like statistical point. Like, I just think basketball is just more like true and of its form when it's like that. And when it's plumbers, like for like the younger generation to fucking talk shit. Like, I like the plumbers. I like the fact that you had Shaq backing a guy down and dunking on him, pushing him, and then the guy getting up and fucking chucking the basketball at Shaq's head. I like Charles Barkley being able to talk shit to Jordan. I like Jordan being able to tell people to shut the fuck up. Like, I just missed that game. That game was more fun, and I think that we've seen just a steady decline in that, and you're seeing that from the viewership standpoint.
I will say though, Bruce, and I agree. Like, we have centers now draining it from three, like on the logos. Yeah. We have like Jokic and Wembanyama just hitting threes.
Like, from a skill perspective, the NBA is probably the best it's ever been. I'll totally say that. From a skill perspective, it's the best it's ever been. But again, like, it has to transfer also on the defensive end. And to with that said, I'm sorry, I know you said you wanted to say something too, but like with that said though, your skills at the offensive end should be able to translate onto the defensive end if you actually try. Because I'm sorry, I'm going to say this as a basketball coach, all defenses is about effort. And I saw Jack's comment earlier about saying that ESPN doesn't cover the NBA. I think that's absolute trash. ESPN does a great job of covering the NBA. You want to talk about a sport that the ESPN doesn't cover? Let's talk about NHL hockey.
Fair. I will say though, I don't know if this is a perfect comparison, but I think it'll get the point across. Like in the era of Manning, Breeze, Brady, Rogers, etc., like they were all breaking passing records, right? You don't really see anybody breaking passing records right now. I wouldn't say that the game is less skilled. I would say the defense caught up to the offense. The game changed. The offense has a advantage when their style changes, a la the 3-point, if you want to compare that to the passing game in the NFL. And I think the defense will catch up. I think the athletes will catch up. I think at some point, maybe getting towards 2029, 2030, we will start to see like true two-way stars again. And I think that will be an emphasis. You will see some team that wins the championship with a historically in the last 15, 20 years, historically bad offense. Like you will see a team like that win a championship, and then all of a sudden defense will be cool again. Because that's what happened is the Warriors went on a run. All of a sudden it was offense. Who can shoot the most threes? Who can have the most, motion, incredible movement offense? Who can just chuck up the most three balls? You made a great point with D'Antoni and the Rockets. And then, the Rockets and the Warriors had all those battles in the West. And then the
Suns
thing.
Suns, dude.
Oh, fair. Yeah, he started it there. And then, with James Harden and CP3 and that team. And then in the East, it was literally just LeBron has turned this league also into drive and kick to three, drive and kick to three, drive and kick to three. And so you either have a good motion offense or you have a drive and kick offense, and that's it. And so
drive and kick is definitely not new again. And like that, like drive and kick,
but the idea of having one main guy like Luka in Dallas or LeBron in LA that drives, and then they've got 4 shooters, and you just drive, and that's all you do is pick and roll, drive, kick. And that's
like Jordan had Hodges, Jordan had Kerr, Jordan had what I'm saying, like
right. So obviously that's not new, but with the ability and even the data and stuff that have turned people into such good 3-point shooters, like that is just a whole new game. I wholeheartedly think like at some point defense is going to catch up. It's just going to take some time.
I do want to say something real quick though, because Bruce did touch on it. And MJ, you're right. There's just like the defense hasn't adapted to how well the offense has evolved. And we were still looking at the 2016 Warriors like, oh my gosh, this offense is the best ever. And then we see offenses nowadays replicating that like easily. Like there's offenses that have already hit that efficiency. But I think Bruce also touched on it there's also a lack of effort on the defensive side. And with a lack of effort, I think there's a direct correlation to a lack of passion. And if I'm a passionate sports watcher, I want to see passion portrayed on the court, on the field, etc. I want to see that as a viewer. And when it's not shown, why would I watch the sport?
Right. No, and I agree. And that directly coincides with the two guys that are my favorite basketball players in the NBA right now. Because they both show passion, they both show effort, and they both want to just are competitors.
Yeah. Like it's those close games with good defense at the end. You get a big time shot by a clutch player. Like that's what the NBA is at its core.
Right.
Is a close game like that, and like the drama and all of that. And that's when you get good rivalries. I think that's why
playoffs. Like you see a huge drop off in scoring in the NBA playoffs because suddenly people want to play defense, and people
all of a sudden they know how to play defense. It's crazy,
right? Exactly, because there's effort. Okay, and you see guys picking up like token defense from like full court, like token like a defense guarding the point guard, and then all of a sudden, as soon as they hit half court, boom, he's on his ass. And
Yeah.
like I get it. Like, and that's the same way. Like me as a coach, like that's how I had my guys playing. Like I wanted somebody just to like make the point guard turn. Make the point guard turn. You don't have to like stay all up in his face and all up in his grill and like be pressing him, but like just make him turn because you just never know. That's what you see in the NBA in the playoffs. Like you see guys, you see them pressing, and yeah, okay, I get the thought process of like, oh, we can't do this for 82 games, and like I understand that thought because basketball is a grueling sport on your knees and your legs and stuff. And especially with the travel and whatever. But I'm sorry, dude. You guys are staying at luxury hotels, getting the best of the best. Like, no one's gonna feel sorry for you. Like you saw Michael Jordan. I'm using
Joel Embiid.
Huh? Like yes,
All
yes,
right,
no, agree. And dude, the fact that Maxey called his ass out too. Hey,
I loved that. I loved that.
Same, good.
Didn't PG call him out too? Like indirectly?
No, I don't know. And I know that they ended up I saw a report today that Joel Embiid ended up like saying whoever released that information is like a bitch or something like that. He called someone.
I mean, PG said publicly in a press conference, I think, that Jared McCain can't be our most consistent player, that it's depressing.
I mean, it's not wrong. You have a former MVP that refuses to get to touch the fucking court.
I'm 3 days into college.
Hey,
2
Jared
lectures
McCain's
behind.
falling off though, and he's vlogging everything, which I just recently learned, which I think is pretty cool. I want everybody to know that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the new wave of NBA players. Like we're gonna get more of that.
He's got 2 sources of income. Jared McCain's vlogging all of his stuff.
He's TikTok famous.
He's like a
He's
TikTok
also doing
guy.
on YouTube.